they're going to forge a compromise that can pass both chambers. I don't know if they can do it by July the 4th or not. Certainly August, they have a little wiggle room before August. But if they don't do this, they'll be held to pay back home because the Republican voters want the president to succeed.
But they don't want their Medicare and Medicaid cut, and that's the problem.
They're not illegal aliens. I said voters, not illegal aliens.
Okay, we're not.
Okay, on that note.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to yesterday's news channel where we watch CNN so you don't have to. Scott Jennings was back in the hornet's nest on Tuesday when he was a panel member on CNN's The Arena with Casey Hunt. Scott Jennings and the wokey wokesters discussed Elon Musk's criticism of Trump's big, beautiful bill and Donald Trump's frustration with and disappointment with Amy Coney Barrett and other Supreme Court justices. Anyway, let's watch Scott Jennings swat away the panel's blah, blah, blah Democrats' arguments without breaking a sweat. You ready for this? All right, let's go.
Also coming as CNN is reporting here that White House officials are telling CNN that they were surprised by Elon Musk's scathing criticism on Tuesday.
Yes.
Were you, Scott Jennings, surprised? And it does seem to scramble the politics.
I wasn't surprised because I had spoken to him about what was motivating his service in Washington a few weeks ago, and he told me he's here to try to make America not go bankrupt. I mean, this is on his mind. We have a $36 trillion debt, and it should be on all of our minds. So that's number one. Number two, I don't think that we're done with the bill yet. I mean, as you know, and as the reporting says, lots of changes are going to have to be made in the Senate to get it out of the Senate, and then those will have to be reconciled. The reconciliation will have to be reconciled with the House, and more changes still may come. So, I guess I want multiple things. I want the president to get his agenda. And the agenda, the core part of this, and the thing that is not negotiable is the extension and making permanent the tax cuts, investment in border security, energy deregulation, the biggest welfare reform in recent history. I mean, these are non-negotiable, I think, to the president because it's what he ran on. But the Republicans should listen here to Elon when it comes to the national debt. We have work to do on this. We have governing responsibility. And maybe it doesn't come in this bill, but the rescissions packages to come and our other work to come here, getting a handle on a $36 trillion debt is not going to be easy, but it is necessary because this is not sustainable.
Yeah, Adrian Elrod, I mean, this has put Chuck Schumer in
order $300 billion. That's actually more than all the DOGE cuts that we've found so far. So something doesn't really add up here, and I can't be on record as being one who supports increasing the debt by $5 trillion. I think that's irresponsible.
I mean, Scott Jennings, the man, there are others. Jamie Dimon is warning there's going to be a crack in the bond market. Ray Dalio, who's a longtime hedge funder, has basically said in the long term, this debt and deficit poses real, actual long-term risks to the very security and stability of our country. And yet, Republicans, I'm not sure I ever thought that your party, ye of Mitch McConnell, land in the original, would be pushing for this.
Well, because it does a lot of things that Republicans ran on last year. I mean, you got to remember why Donald Trump won the election. I mean, he said he was going to make the tax cuts permanent. He said he was going to invest in border security. He said he was going to build up the military. I mean, all the things that Rand, who I love and have voted for many times, all the things that he said he was going to do.
Does McConnell love him as much as you do?
I love them all. Okay. They're all my friends.
So relentlessly on message.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But Kentucky's an amazing place right now. We have McConnell, we have Rand, we have Massey.
And Scott Jennings.
For President Trump, it's an amazing place. But for all the Republicans who live in Kentucky, they voted for Trump. And they voted for Trump to enact his agenda. They want him to make the tax cuts permanent and do the rest of the things that are in the bill. And I ultimately think, however they end up adjusting it, that's how they got it out of the House, was the force of Donald Trump's political will. That's probably how they're going to get it out of the Senate, and it's probably how they're going to forge a compromise that can pass both chambers. I don't know if they can do it by July the 4th or not. Certainly August, they have a little wiggle room before August. But if they don't do this, they'll be held to pay back home because the Republican voters want the president to succeed.
But they don't want their Medicare and Medicaid cut, and that's the problem.
They're not illegal aliens. I said voters, not illegal aliens.
Okay, we're not.
Okay, on that note.
So I think if anything, Elon Musk's commentary about the big, beautiful bill, for me, it just adds more evidence that he's been consistent for a long time as to why he contributed to Trump's campaign and gave of his time so freely to work with the Trump administration. An enormous part of his reasoning was his concern about the deficit and the long-term ramifications if we don't turn this country's spending trends around immediately. It's a pretty altruistic thing to be passionate about. So since I don't listen to this story through a lens of hatred for both Elon and Donald Trump, what I hear is two powerful, opinionated icons disagreeing on something that's really significant. But why are they disagreeing? Because they both want more than anything else what's best for this country. The deficit is a major concern, but so is delivering on campaign promises, following through on the promises you made to the people who put you in the position you're in right now. For me, everything that Trump is advocating for in the bill is in the best interest of our country, and everything Elon is criticizing about the bill is warranted. I say all that to say this. You see how the whole Trump and Elon are just oligarchs and everything they do is to make themselves richer argument crumbles even more than it already has, if it's even there anymore? If they were all about screwing the country over for personal gain, wouldn't they just smile and get along and keep up their grand scheme that we're perpetrating on all of us? Oh, that one just always irritated me. You can see it still bothers me. I really hope that narrative's died down. I haven't heard it for a while, but for anyone that ever actually bought into it, you are super dumb. Back to it.
Our panel's back to discuss. Scott Jennings, and then Elliot, I want to get you to weigh in on this as well. But Scott, there has been a remarkable amount of anger aimed at Amy Coney Barrett from a lot of people, the MAGA, right online. She previously has been, she was incredibly well respected, obviously recommended by, the Federalist Society and others. Trump seems to have taken issue with that as well. Clearly, once these justices are on the bench, they have their own power, and Trump is not the first president to be frustrated with the way a justice turned out to actually rule once on the bench. But what do you make of Trump's anger, first of all, but also what that means Amy Coney Barrett should be worried about or doing, if anything?
Well, I don't make much of the anger because, as you pointed out, all presidents are unhappy with the Supreme Court from time to time. And as the statement from the White House said, whatever frustration he might have with an individual ruling, he's always going to respect the Supreme Court and its foundational role, which means respecting the decisions that it makes. So I don't have any fear about the situation. He has a right to be angry. I mean, they have a legal point of view on these cases, and if he doesn't win a case, obviously, it's not going to make him very happy. What should Amy Coney Barrett do? I mean, she should follow the law. I mean, we're conservatives. We put people on the bench so that they will rule according to the Constitution and the law, not make up laws and make things up as they go along. That's what Democrats do. They put people on the bench to do that. So all conservatives should expect our appointees to just simply be constitutional conservatives, originalists. That's what we want out of them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is one of those things that's also getting scrambled. I mean, we've been talking about how on spending, down is up and up is down on Capitol Hill. Like, we can put up some of Barrett's rulings in these Trump Supreme Court cases. And again, our reporting says it's not necessarily just one thing, but these are three instances: the Alien Enemies Act, the firings of government watchdogs, and of course the USAID. I mean, there has been some seriously creative use of laws on the books by this administration. The Alien Enemies Act is a great example of that. So while I understand your kind of originalist argument, like in this case, she's kind of ruling to say like, hey, like, you shouldn't actually use this longstanding law in this very strange way that we've never seen before.
Yeah, well, he disagrees. And I disagree. And a lot of Republicans disagree. And so we can voice those disagreements. It's probably not going to make any difference to her. I mean, as you pointed out, once you put these people on the bench, they can turn off their phones and close their laptops
Must be nice.
Not pay any attention to anything at all out in the world. But do I expect them to not be criticized when they make substantial errors, which maybe she did in these cases? No, of course they're going to take some criticism, but I don't anticipate it having any impact on their futures.
So I've been hard on our quote-unquote conservative SCOTUS justices, but I was thinking it through and trying to look at it from multiple perspectives. First of all, of course Trump is pissed when a judge he appointed prevents or puts hurdles in the way of delivering what he's promised the American people. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, especially when you're under the impression that they share the core values of conservatives. Trump's just sitting there like, what the fuck? To be clear, I'm extremely frustrated with Amy Coney Barrett. Well, and Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, freaking Roberts. But here are three questions I ask myself so I can just let it go and accept the situation for what it is. 1, can I do anything to change how they're going to rule? 2, can I boot them from office? 3, should I be grateful for the justices we do have because it could be a hell of a lot worse? And of course, the answer key reads no, no, yes. And maybe I'd add one more extra credit question. Are there far more full-blown evil people in our government that genuinely want to see this entire country burn that I should be worrying about? As I wrap up, I want to be clear. If you're watching this right now and disagree with any conservative Supreme Court justice's decision, there's a 99% chance that I do too. So by no way is this me saying it's not a big deal, they can rule however they want, make up anything. I'm just saying there's nothing I can do about it. And there are much bigger malevolent fish to fry. But don't worry, I mean, when they inevitably F up in the future, I'll be right here to point out how stupid they are. What did you guys think about Scott's appearance on the arena with Casey Hunt? And what are your feelings on Elon's criticism of Trump's bill or Trump's dissatisfaction with Amy Coney Barrett and others? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you haven't watched this long before, this is where I remind everyone the channel currently has a goal of 20K by the end of June. It's a really lofty goal, but I've seen my viewership and how awesome everybody is, and I really believe we can do it. And I also always point out that I never ask you guys to like and subscribe, even though I probably should, but I never do that. So I'm calling in a favor here in June. So if you'd help me out, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, as always, thank you so much for taking a couple minutes out of your day to watch my video. It really, it means a ton to me. Thank you. Never forget Jesus loves you. I'll see you guys.